Hey everyone, it's Matt, aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to be taking a look at my load order for Fallout 4 on the Xbox. We talked about some things in the previous one because that was shortly after the next-gen update, so I wanted to give a little bit of an update on this one, what I've changed out since, and what I'm going to be maybe looking at for the next one. So, fair warning that you should ask questions if you're not sure what a mod does. I've made videos for a lot of the mods in this list already, but I'm going to try to go over some of the newer additions in this one. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at my load order for Fallout 4 on the Xbox in 2025. The first version, at least. So I wanted to start off this section with a little bit of an experiment that I had. I used unified Commonwealth weathers before, which merged the DLC weathers into one, and then I wanted to try this Mega Fat Lighting and Weather Bundle, which is a great name. Basically Calamity Weathers, all the patches, as well as Fi Light, Fi Dark, so you do get those benefits, all in one mod. And then there is another mod, Vibrant Tweaks, Calamity Weathers, and this actually brings a vibrant look to the game. It's a different take on the Calamity Weathers Bright, and some visuals from Fallout 76. In the description of the Mega Fat Lighting Bundle, it did mention that you could use this with it, so I wanted to try it. But for comparison's sake, I did turn one off while I used the other. There were times at night, kind of pushing 10 o'clock, where this looked really good with everything on. And during the day, also a nice look. You saw a little bit more saturation with the Vibrant Tweaks on. Inside, if you just use the Mega Fat, it uses Fi Light and Fi Dark inside, which we've looked at before. With the Vibrant Tweaks, the interior lighting would be a little bit different. Aside from the darker nights and the different interior lighting with Mega Fat, there wasn't a huge difference between the two. However, I got to one spot, which was the combat zone, and I didn't really like the lighting there, so I thought I would go back to lightweight lighting. I already wasn't really on board with the darker nights that was in the Mega Fat bundle, but you also don't want them super bright either. I liked how the, lights actually functioned in that one before. And I hadn't had a chance to actually try this one out since the next gen update. I was having some performance issues before with that mod, but now everything seems to be working pretty well. And just how modding usually goes, you spend several hours trying things out and then you just go right back to where you started. So thanks for going on that little journey with me. I figured I'd just share my experience testing some things out, and maybe you found another weather mod or lighting mod that you might want to use. You could have added Calamity interiors below the Vibrant Tweaks if you wanted better interiors, but I wanted to check out lightweight lighting again. And before we end this part, I did want to briefly touch on the animation mod that I'm using. This does need to be used with the third-person camera tweaks, by the way. I made a video on how to use that, but I'm going to spin it off into a YouTube short as well. But I am using the cautious animations here, so if you notice a little bit of a difference when I'm running, walking around in this video, third person, that's why. This camera presets mod is a different thing, just relating to the third person camera. That mod allows you to create some presets to switch up the third person camera to your liking. Just presets though, and not customizable. And the other thing is a different FOV. I just downloaded a mod that gave me a little bit wider of an FOV at 90. But I think that's enough of that, so let's take a look at the main texture mod that I've added to this list. So I've always been on the lookout for another texture mod, and this one actually was released on Xbox towards the end of 2024. Ronin 1971's UHD Landscapes Enhanced. This actually includes a lot of different textures from grass to cliffs, plants, roads. I actually have a few other textures that I like to use with a landscape texture mod, so I actually place those underneath, and it seems like everything is working okay. The last couple lists I've made have actually included the True Grass Light and Grass Reworked. Here's an example of what that looks like with this mod on. So as you can see, it's not really necessary to have that on because grass is something that is touched by Ronin's mod, so it's personal preference. And I did have a road retexture mod as well, so I wanted to use that with this. But I do love that we have yet another mod that incorporates a lot in one, so you don't have to have multiple mods if you don't want to. The other great thing about it too is that it's over half the size of Vivid Fallout. It's not a one-to-one comparison obviously, but it's worth mentioning if you're a little strapped for space. As far as weapons and armors go, I pretty much kept the weapons the same from the last list, but then I'm using this New Vegas light machine gun just to have another rifle in my inventory. There's some cool New Vegas type inspired mods out there, so this one's pretty cool to use if you're looking for something with that aesthetic. As far as armor mods go, I have these smaller ones, the Tomba Jamba ones, that aren't very powerful, but they do look cool, so I'd like to mix and match. And then I have the Post-Apocalyptic Survivor if I need to go into like a high-tiered area or somewhere where there's a lot of enemies, so I don't die. Because sometimes you need to go for utility rather than style. But the Post-Apocalyptic Survivor mod is pretty cool in both departments. And lastly, I do want to have a section on performance. I am running the performance mode as well as the frame rate target of 60, and things have been pretty good and solid. I haven't run into anything crazy. If I had the visuals mode on, that's when you started to notice a lot of frame drops here and there. If I'm fighting NPCs that were changed in any way, you might notice a hitch here and there, but it's nothing drastic like it was in Boston when the next gen update first dropped. I have a decent amount of space to mess around with here, so I can try other NPC mods or things that edit NPC records just to see if any performance hits would actually be worth it. But for right now, I'm going to keep things like the ghoul overhaul as well as the armor for the gunners. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned if you want to see the list in game. I'm just going to run through that while music plays, but you can also check out that spreadsheet in the description down below for the links to all those mods. I hope that was helpful for you. Want to do something similar to the Skyrim one we just went through, just to bring you up to date with what I'm doing in my game. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.